Yeah, not even the women. We're good? We're live, sorry. All right. It is 7:28. We are out of executive session. No decisions were made. The next item is miscellaneous consideration of city administrator employment contract and appointment. Is there a motion?
Mr. Mayor,
Blair.
I have a motion to appoint Douglas Carr as city administrator and to authorize the mayor to execute the employment agreement and the severance agreement as discussed in executive session with the amendments as discussed. I further move with the agreement of Mr. Kerr to terminate the additional services and retention agreement entered earlier this year in light of his new role as city administrator.
Second.
Nicole.
Mr. Mayor, can I make some comment? Okay.
Nicole, you good? Or Will?
Yes, yes.
Go ahead.
All right, thanks. I've been asked by the news media and many residents why I did not state my reason for voting the way I did at the last council meeting. I do believe that part of those discussions regarding the candidate should have been in public as opposed to executive session, but as they were not, I would like to give my thoughts and opinion on why I voted the way I did and why I'm voting the way I am tonight. First, this is not personal, and I absolutely have nothing against Douglas. I think he is a fine, devoted employee and a very nice person. He has, this has everything to do with my responsibility to select what I believe is the best person to fill a very critical role for the city. I will dismiss what occurred that resulted in Douglas becoming a candidate and focus on the relative qualifications and the suitability of Douglas versus another one of the leading candidates. One thing we did learn from Douglas's late entry into the process is that he is only interested in the money. He said he did not originally apply for the position because he did not think the compensation was going to be much different than what the past city administrator was getting paid. He was very open to anyone that asked him that he is only interested in this position at a certain compensation. And if he did not get that level of pay, he is out. Rarely in my experience does a scenario like this, where virtually the entire interest in a position where it is monetary, result in a good outcome for either the employee or the hiring entity. Tenure or years of experience does not necessarily qualify one as the best candidate. In fact, I think in this case it actually works against Douglas. He has spent 28 years as an employee of IOP, 24 of those years as planning director. While it may show incredible loyalty to IOP, it does not reflect a career progression or skill development one would expect for a city administrator. I was looking for someone that had a variety of experiences, with each role having increased responsibility and authority with a proven track record of achieving results. Even when comparing resumes, there are stark differences in the achievements of outside candidates versus Douglas. While education and degrees don't necessarily predict results, all three of the outside candidates had masters in public administration. Douglas had a BS in urban studies. We had an outside candidate that had a very impressive career progression, that was well-rounded, demonstrates significant achievements, is currently a town administrator of a beach community and previously was assistant town manager of a South Carolina city that is much larger than Isle of Palms with a larger budget. In my opinion, gave the best presentation during the interview process, comes with very high recommendations from our city attorney, Sullivan's Island and others. Already has established relationship with local and state leaders, would be in the compensation range of our previous city administrator, and lives 5 miles from IOP. He's local. In my opinion, we should not be looking for a new leader that can keep the same old wheels rolling and maintain the status quo. We need a new leader that has the leadership ability to take the city to the next level, bring new ideas, that is here because it is the next logical step in their career and has the runway to continue to grow with the city. In my opinion, that was one of the outside candidates, not Douglas. Further, many on this council stated that they were going into the selection process with an open mind and would judge each candidate their own merits. I now find that highly suspect, and I'll tell you why. I had a conversation with a city employee on February 6th, and the employee said that they were speaking with a council member, and the council member asked if the employee had heard about Douglas being a candidate. And the employee responded yes and asked how they thought it would turn out. The council member responded that they already had 5 votes for Douglas and it shouldn't be a problem. I remind you that this was the day after the candidate profiles were sent out to all of the council and a week before council interviewed any of the candidates on February 13th. This was finished before it even started, and we should all be ashamed by this action.
Jan?
I'll be brief. I just want to repeat that I have no problem with the candidate. I think Douglas Carr will serve us well as a city administrator because he's been taught well by Desiree. I have a problem with the compensation. It's, what did I say, 50% more than his current salary and 25 or 30% more than our former administrator. That's it.
Rusty?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm proud to say I seconded the motion to make an offer to Douglas. I'm also one of 9 people that interviewed all 4 candidates. We're all sitting here. And it is my firm belief that the candidates that we interviewed, all good candidates, all highly qualified, but in my mind, as an independent council member, Douglas stood out as being the best among the group. And I stand by that vote. I stand by my decision to support him. I think he's done a lot of good things in this city in the last 28 years, and he's got more good years ahead of him. I don't for 1 minute think that the administration committee did anything wrong. And any of the 3 members, I think they brought us the best candidates they could under the circumstances, and one of those candidates did happen to be Douglas, who was an internal candidate. So I'm all for him.
Scott? Sure.
I have a few comments. First, the hiring process was irreparably corrupted and unfair to all 79 applicants that followed the process from the start. Second, the 3 finalists all have advanced qualifications in experience, supervision, education, technology, and finance. They brought proactive planning and implementation skills, plus strong state and federal connections. All 3 were clearly motivated by community service and career opportunities versus only money. We've discarded all those considerations and essentially kicked the finalists to the curb. Third, this governing body has incurred significant damage to its credibility, sense of fair play, professionalism, and transparency due to a vacancy of leadership, inaction, and unacceptable behavior. And finally, I believe we're paying a big premium for a missed opportunity to invest in the talent needed to provide proactive, long-term administrative leadership for our residents, visitors, businesses, and employees. Thank you.
Kate?
I too have been asked why I voted the way I did before, and I would just, I think it's really been said ad nauseum, but I'd just like to add a couple things. The salary is my main issue also. I will never forgive myself for being a part of the city council that failed to give Ms. Fregoso the pay increase that she deserved. It hurts me personally, and I, again, will never forgive myself for being a part of the council that then turned around and gave a $38,000 pay increase to a man with less qualifications, a man who did not have the same degree, has not held such a position for such a long time, who has told anyone who cares to listen that he was on his way out, that he would not stay at the city for less than $180,000, that he hoped the city could find somebody for less than $180,000. That is unacceptable, and it is a sad, sad place that we've put ourselves in.
Comments, questions? Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
You do by a show of raising hands,
Hands
please.
first.
Aye.
Okay?
All those opposed?
Nay.
Nay.
Thank you.
Nicole, you got Jan.
Yes, sir. Motion passes 5-4.
There being no further business,
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Off record at 7:39.